My brother's new girlfriend mocked my little retail job at a family dinner. Everyone laughed. Dad told me to stop embarrassing the family. So I stayed quiet. Until she started bragging about her corporate career. That's when I pulled out my phone and made one call. What happened next? Her face went from smug to white in 30 seconds. And my brother. He didn't speak to me for 3 months. But trust me, it was worth it. Hey everyone, I'm Alexandra, but most people call me Alex. And before we start, let me just say, I'm about to tell you the most satisfying family dinner story you've ever heard. My dad still won't talk about it. My brother definitely won't talk about it. But me. I'll talk about it forever. So here's the background. I'm 26, the youngest of 3 kids. My older brother Cameron is 32, and he's the golden child. Lawyer, married to his career, makes good money, drives a BMW. My middle sister Emily is 29, works in finance, also successful. Then there's me, quiet, reserved, and according to my family, the underachiever. See, I work in retail. I'm a store manager at a luxury boutique downtown. To my family, this is basically the same as being unemployed. Never mind that I make decent money and actually love my job. To them, if you're not in a suit working 80-hour weeks, you're wasting your life. Family dinners at my parents' house were always the same. Cameron talks about his cases, Emily talks about her investments, and I just exist. Smile, nod, let them have their moment. I learned a long time ago that trying to contribute just led to patronizing head pats and that's nice, dear responses. But this dinner. This was different. Cameron brought his new girlfriend, Victoria. They'd been dating for 2 months, and this was her first family dinner. Victoria was everything my family loved, sharp suit, corporate job title, confident to the point of arrogant. She worked as a regional sales director for some tech company I'd never heard of. The moment she walked in, she sized me up. I was wearing jeans and a nice blouse, straight from work. She was in a power suit with red-bottom heels. You must be the baby's sister, she said, shaking my hand with a grip that was just a bit too tight. Cameron told me you work in retail. The way she said retail made it sound like I cleaned sewers for a living. Yeah, I manage a boutique downtown, I said pleasantly. Oh, how nice. Everyone needs to start somewhere, right? I smiled. Right. Dinner started, and Victoria was on. She dominated every conversation, talked over everyone, and made sure we all knew how successful she was. Her sales numbers, her corporate apartment, her business trips to New York and LA. Then she turned her attention to me. So Alex, are you thinking about going back to school? Getting a real career started? My mom jumped in before I could answer. We keep telling her that. But Alex is. She's happy where she is. The disappointment in my mom's voice was thick enough to cut. Victoria nodded sympathetically. I get it. Not everyone is cut out for corporate life. It takes a certain type of drive, you know. Some people are just more comfortable in simpler roles. My brother Cameron laughed. My sister Emily smirked into her wine glass. My dad shook his head like I was a disappointment. I mean, there's nothing wrong with retail, Victoria continued, on a roll now. Someone has to fold the clothes and work the register, right? It's honest work. I took a sip of water. It is. Do you at least get good employee discounts? She laughed at her own joke. The table laughed with her. Even my own family. My dad cleared his throat. Alex, maybe now's not the time to talk about work. Let's not make this dinner uncomfortable. Translation, stop making the family look bad by reminding everyone you're the failure. So I stayed quiet. I ate my food, let Victoria continue her performance, and waited. Then Victoria made her fatal mistake. So I just got promoted, she announced, beaming. I'm now overseeing the entire Western region. 15 sales teams, over 200 employees under me. The VP of sales personally called to offer me the position. Everyone congratulated her. Cameron looked so proud. My mom was practically glowing. Finally, a successful woman in Cameron's life. What company did you say you work for again? I asked innocently. Tech Vibe Solutions. We're a rapidly growing B2B software company. I'm actually one of the youngest regional directors they've ever had. I nodded slowly, pulling out my phone. Tech Vibe Solutions. That's interesting. Are you looking them up? Victoria laughed. Don't worry, we're legit. We're actually about to go public. I'm getting in on the ground floor. Oh, I believe you, I said, scrolling through my phone. I'm just checking something. Alex, put your phone away, my dad snapped. It's rude. Just 1 second, Dad. I found what I was looking for and made a call. On speaker. It rang twice. Hey Alex. A warm voice answered. Twice in one day? Must be important. Hey Jonathan, sorry to bother you at night. Quick question, does the name Victoria Chen mean anything to you? The table went silent. Victoria's smile faltered. Victoria Chen? Jonathan's voice came through clearly. Yeah, she was one of our regional sales directors. Was. We terminated her 3 weeks ago for falsifying sales reports and expense fraud. Why? You could have heard a pin drop. Victoria's face went from tan to paper white in seconds. Just confirming some information, I said calmly. Thanks, Jonathan. See you tomorrow. No problem, boss. Have a good night. I hung up and placed my phone on the table. Boss? My mother repeated, confused. I looked at Victoria, whose mouth was opening and closing like a fish. So, Victoria. You want to tell them, or should I? I don't know what, who was that? She stammered. That was Jonathan Pierce. The actual VP of Sales at Tech Vibe Solutions. Also known as my client. The confusion on my family's faces was priceless. I'm sorry, your client? Emily said. Yeah. Remember that little retail job everyone loves to mock? I'm not just a store manager. I own the boutique. And 3 others. And the building they're in. And several other commercial properties downtown. Dead. Silence. I keep a low profile because I like my privacy. I dress casually because I don't need to prove anything to anyone. And Tech Vibe Solutions. They rent their entire Western Regional office from me. Jonathan and his executive team are some of my best clients. My dad's face was red. My mom's jaw was literally hanging open. Cameron looked like he wanted to disappear. Emily had put down her wine glass, stunned. But Victoria was in full panic mode. I can explain, the firing was a misunderstanding. They fired you for fraud, I said calmly. Jonathan told me about it 3 weeks ago during a lease negotiation. He was actually warning me because he'd heard you were dating around in professional circles and misrepresenting your current employment status. I turned to Cameron. She's been telling you she's still employed, hasn't she? Still going to work every day? Cameron's face confirmed it. So not only did you lie to my brother, but you came into my parents' home, mocked me for being in retail, and bragged about a job you were fired from. A company that literally pays me rent. Victoria stood up abruptly. I don't have to listen to this. You're right, you don't. There's the door. She grabbed her purse, looked at Cameron for support, but he was staring at his plate. She stormed out. We heard her car peel out of the driveway. The dining room was silent except for the ticking of my mom's grandfather clock. Finally, my dad spoke. Alex. You own 4 boutiques. And the buildings. And I'm about to close on a 5th property next month. Why didn't you tell us? My mom asked, and for the first time, she actually looked hurt rather than disappointed. Because you never asked. You assumed. You saw retail manager and decided I was a failure. Do you know how many family dinners I've sat through listening to you apologize for me? Explain me away? Make excuses? Emily, to her credit, looked ashamed. Alex, I'm sorry. We've been horrible to you. Yeah. You have been. Cameron finally looked up. Did you know? About Victoria? I knew she'd been fired. I didn't know about the fraud details until tonight when she started lying. I made the call to confirm it in front of everyone because I was tired of being the family embarrassment. You're not an embarrassment, my dad said quietly. Really? Because 10 minutes ago, you told me to stop making this dinner uncomfortable by existing. He didn't have a response to that. Here's the twist that makes this even better, the story doesn't end there. 2 days later, Victoria tried to sue me for defamation and intentional infliction of emotional distress. She claimed I'd humiliated her on purpose and damaged her reputation. My lawyer, who I pay very well, had the case dismissed in under a week. Truth is an absolute defense to defamation. Everything I'd said was verifiable. Plus, Jonathan from Tech Vibe was willing to testify about the fraud. But Victoria's lawyer made a critical error. During the proceedings, they disclosed that Victoria had been running a scheme, dating successful men, pretending to still be employed, and essentially living off them while she figured things out. Cameron was target number 4. My brother felt like an idiot. But more than that, he felt grateful. I'd saved him from potentially getting financially tangled with a con artist. 3 months of silence followed that dinner. My family didn't know how to talk to me. Finally, Cameron called. I'm sorry, he said. For everything. For years of everything. We met for coffee. He told me Victoria had stolen from him, used his credit card for work expenses that were actually personal shopping sprees. He'd only discovered it after I'd exposed her. You saved me from something so much worse, he admitted. And we've treated you like garbage. My sister Emily reached out next. Then my parents. Slowly, awkwardly, we started rebuilding our relationship. But this time, it was different. They actually asked about my work, my life, my success. My mom even came to visit one of my boutiques. She cried when she saw what I'd built. I'm so sorry I made you feel like this wasn't enough, she said. I'm so sorry I didn't see you. It wasn't an instant fix. Years of being dismissed don't disappear overnight. But it was a start. As for Victoria, last I heard, she moved to another state after her lawsuit failed and her scheme got exposed online. Turns out, I wasn't the first family to have this experience with her. So what's the moral of this story? 3 things. 1. Never judge someone's success by their job title or appearance. The most successful people I know dress like they're going to the grocery store. 2. When people show you who they are through how they treat others, believe them. Victoria showed everyone exactly who she was at that dinner table. 3. Sometimes the best revenge isn't raising your voice, it's making one phone call that tells the truth. My family learned a hard lesson that night. And honestly, I'm glad it happened. Because now when I show up to family dinner in jeans and a t-shirt, nobody says a word. They know better. And Cameron? He's single now and much more careful about who he dates. He actually asked me to do a background check on his last few dates before he got serious. I told him I'm a property owner, not a private investigator, but I appreciate the trust. Thanks for watching, guys. If this story taught you anything, I hope it's this: never let anyone make you feel small for doing what you love. Success looks different for everyone. And sometimes, the person everyone underestimates is the one who owns the building. Hit that subscribe button if you want more stories about underestimated underdogs who get the last laugh. Drop a comment telling me about a time you proved someone wrong. Until next time, stay humble, stay hungry, and never let them see you sweat. Unless you're making them sweat first.